Holy shit, I am emotionally wrecked. This guy Patch, the one-eyed pirate kid, he saves the girl, right? Interrupts a kidnapping like some kind of hero and then gets himself snatched by the psycho killer. For 307 days. What kind of backwards luck is that?
That's the setup, not the whole story. And yes, it's intense. Welcome back to Crime Time Drive, folks. This week we dove headfirst, or maybe just got dragged under, by Chris Whitaker's All the Colors of the Dark, set in the Ozarks, 1975.
Ozarks, like Jason Bateman laundering money. Or more like people keeping secrets for 50 freaking years. Because this felt like 50 years. It was 600 pages. 600 pages. Of misery, my eyeballs are still bleeding.
It's called Epic Scope. It's a decades spanning mystery about trauma, obsession, and the search for a girl named Grace who Patch claims was held captive with him. It's complex.
Complex. He comes back after nearly a year in psycho killer basement hell, missing an AO and instead of, I don't know, therapy. He ditches everyone who loves him to chase a ghost girl. For decades, he abandons his own kidder. That's not complex. That's grade A. Certified Dutch baggery.
He's clearly suffering from profound psychological trauma. The kidnapping, the darkness, the uncertainty about Grace, it fundamentally broke him. You can't just expect him to snap back and be dad of the year. He's driven by
selfishness. That's what he's driven by. This review nailed it. 600 pages of the male main character making selfish, reckless decisions at the expense of his family and friends. Bingo, and don't get me started on Saint.
Saint is the epitome of loyalty. His best friend sticks by him, searches for him, becomes this pillar of strength.
Pillar of stupidity. She wastes her whole life pining after this one-eyed woe-is-me disaster who treats her like garbage. Oh, but wait, she also has a secret baby and a husband who suddenly turned to Ike Turner halfway through the book. Where did that come from? It was like the author suddenly remembered. Oh crap, Saint needs some drama too. It was as believable as my cousin Vinny claiming he saw Elvis at the gas station last week.
The character arcs are meant to show the ripple effects of Patch's trauma and the darkness infecting everyone. Jimmy's shift, while perhaps abrupt.
It was whiplash. And Misty. Poor Misty. He saves her, strings her along for years while mooning over his ghost girl, and then she just conveniently gets cancer and dies. Seriously, was the author just like, okay, need to clear the decks for more Patch angst? It felt cheap. Like finding out the killer in last week's book was the butler's evil twin we never met.
That was different. That was a procedural. This is more literary. It's exploring themes.
Oh, literary. Is that what we call it when the writing is so purple it stains the pages? Can't you see how beautiful you make tragedy? Give me a break. Some reviewer said it was like child wrote a murder mystery, and honestly, parts of it felt like that. Cryptic nonsense trying to sound deep.
Whereas other readers called it beautiful, lyrical, exquisite. One said they wept for a solid 15 minutes. After finishing, people went into mourning.
They were mourning the 600 pages they'll later get back. I mean, come on, Ding. Don't even get me started on the ending. Tombs. Choosing death row over breaking doctor-patient confidentiality about abortions from decades ago. Is that the killer's big motive? Are you kidding me?
Okay, the Tombs' motivation was a choice. Perhaps a bit convoluted, I'll grant you. But the reveal itself, the way it tied back.
Tied back with a ridiculous, unbelievable bow. It was fun to the review quote, and they were right. It made 0 sense. We got a fake listener email. My neighbor keeps quoting grief is a part of life. It's the unknown that truly ruins us like Patch. Should I move? Concerned in Cleveland? Yes, you should move.
Look, the book is divisive. That's its power. It makes you feel something. Is Patch a hero or an asshole? Is his obsession justified by trauma? Is Saint loyal or enabling? It asks big questions.
It asks us to swallow plot twists so unbelievable. They make bad cop movies look like documentaries. If this detective, Patch, investigated a lost cat, would he burn down the bearing answers about the cat's secret inner life? Probably. And he'd make Saint help him pour the gasoline.
It's about the journey, the atmosphere, the emotional core.
The emotional core of a black hole sucking everyone's happiness away. This book gave me a really gross feeling. Just like that other reviewer said. Hated it. Hated it. Except maybe that first kidnapping scene. That was kind of cool.
Okay, verdict time. Despite some narrative leaps and Patch's undeniable flaws, the ambition, the atmosphere, and the sheer emotional weight some readers felt can't be ignored. I'm giving all the colors of the dark 3 out of 5 drop plot threads. It tried.
Tried my patience. 600 pages of Ozark misery and wanted to slap with a wet fish. The ending was an insult. This gets 1 star, plus an extra half star for the sheer audacity of that tomb's nonsense, so 1.5 out of 5, needs more therapy, certificates. Utterly wrecked, and not in a good way.
Agree to disagree violently again.
As always. All right, you lunatics, that's all the time we have for this emotional dumpster fire. Next week, we're tackling a case involving, genetically modified killer hamsters taking over a retirement home.
I think it's a political thriller, but sure, killer hamsters, why not? Until then, keep your doors locked and your expectations low. This has been Crime Time Drive.